please subscribe. Toy box dreams tonight. Memories unlocked. Toy box dreams for life. Memories unboxed. Toy box nostalgia.
Howdy friends, and welcome back to Toy Box Nostalgia. I'm Douglas. In this video, we are going to be unboxing and reviewing and taking a super duper close look at the absolute brand new 2024 Mondo Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Sofubi version of Mondo Gecko. This is beautiful. These colors are so brilliant. The sculpt looks fantastic. It needs to come out of this package. He comes with a motorized skateboard as his accessory. Ooh, this is the first Sofubi figure that I got from Mondo that actually has bands around it and like pieces of plastic inside there. It's kind of cool. This is great. If you're new to Toy Box Nostalgia, you'd love to see more Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles unboxing content like this show up into your YouTube newsfeed, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. It truly helps out the channel. If you're a fan of Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you just like Mondo Gecko, or if you like Mondo, the company, the toy company that's making this great stuff, or you like Toy Box Nostalgia, please give me a thumbs up. I love you so much forever for it. And drop a comment below letting me know, did you pick this up? Did you pre-order this guy yet? I'm pretty sure they're still for sale on the Mondo website, but it's an exclusive. It may be a timed exclusive. I truly don't know. If you did pick this guy up, I'd love to see some toy photos. Send me some toy photos. If you have a collection of these Sofubi from Mondo like I do, send me a picture of your collection. I'd love to see it. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Let's just dive right in. Babette, no, honey, I need to get in there.
But he's green. Look how green he is. Hi. Hi, fans of Toy Box Nostalgia.
Okay, here he is, my friends, in that incredibly huge blister packaging that we've seen multiple times here now on the channel with Michelangelo, Raphael, and Leonardo. The packaging looks pretty much exactly the same. Now I hear the packaging for Baxter Stockman, who just went up for pre-order, I think just yesterday, his blister card is going to be styled different. Hopefully there's a different picture on the back as well, showing off some of the villain mutants from the TV show. But this is beautiful because this is like an adult version of that toy that we had in the 1980s, this packaging. This sticker has a frosted finish, unlike the transparent stickers that came on the Ninja Turtles. I know this is kind of weird to open him up before Donatello, but Babette picked him because she loves the color green. So this is the very first Sofubi item that I got from Mondo or Soft Vinyl, whatever you want to call it, that actually has a lot of bands inside of it holding the figure and the accessory intact during shipping. We could also see there's like some sort of plastic bag over his feet, kind of like how we saw with some of the classic Masters of the Universe characters. Flipping over to the back, this is the same exact artwork again that we saw with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we've already opened up here. Beautiful, beautiful drawing by Aaron Conley. Take a look at all of that wonderful artwork. It's comic book style artwork and it's inside the sewer layer. And just, wow, it's absolutely beautiful. I'd love to see this as a poster. Hopefully Mondo starts, they do sell posters. I mean, that'd be a cool poster to have. Here is the barcode in case you need it, though I don't believe these are coming to retail. Here in the center, we have Nickelodeon, copyright 2024, Viacom International Inc. Must be 14 years old to have this. This is a collector's model, not a toy, though I've been treating them as toys, and the package is in fact recyclable. It does have that. Here it is. I must have missed it. It's on the front. As you see here, there's a number 1 and PET, so this packaging is in fact all recyclable. It's very cool. Speaking of packaging, let's go ahead and get this figure out of this packaging. Okay, so here he is outside of the packaging and inside of his bubble. Take a look at all of these bands. He has one band up here over his luscious black hair that's sticking out of his ball cap. He has one across each arm, one across the torso, and one holding his feet in. And we have some sort of plastic bag here to protect the paint, most likely during shipping. We have one plastic band here around the skateboard itself, and then we have 2 more up here around the exhaust pipes for that V8 engine. Let's go ahead and get him out of these bands. Okay. We got him out of the packaging, my friends. That wasn't too bad, even though there were some bands in it. That's okay. Let's begin by taking a look at this Sofubi figure's details, my friends. We're going to begin with that beautiful head. This head sculpt is amazing. This really, really looks like Mondo Gecko to me. From the original toy in the 1980s, just upgraded. Wow, this is incredible. Look at the attention to detail. I love the backwards Adam Sandler hat. I'm loving the crop top shirt with the skateboard as one of the crossbones in the Jolly Roger, and it does in fact have an eyeball in it. I'm not sure if that's a decal or if that's printed on there, but that is absolutely razor sharp. Very, very good details. I love the shirt, how it's torn, and you can see his skin through it. Now, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it looks like we have some green overspray from the dark shade of green that they applied to his upper shoulder on the shirt itself. But honestly, that looks really cool. Take a look at his elbow pads, and we could see there's a lot of attention to detail put into that as well, so it doesn't look like a big, solid, shiny object. It actually looks like an elbow pad. I love his skin texture. It's very bumpy. Speaking of skin, take a look at that blemish right there. He did fall off of his motorized skateboard, and he got a cut on his arm, and he has 2 silver band-aids placed in an X on his arm. He's wearing a rope bracelet, which is like a really vibrant orange color. And then, wow, look at his nails. That's rough. Those somehow look worse than mine. They stick out over the fingers. They're pretty long. And yeah, I'm loving the detail in the hand even. Like the hand sculpt looks great. Looks like a hand that would belong to a gecko. And he's definitely throwing up that, you know, rock and roll sign, right? You know, like rock and roll. Take a look at his torso. We can see 2 tones there in the blue. We have a light blue that's the almost like a, well, it's like a dark sky blue that makes up these scales here on his abdomen, but then they put in a dark blue in some of those like little notches that are taken out of it, or creases if you want to call them. He has Incredible Hulk-like pants. They're purple pants that are ripped at the top and in the legs. They look kind of puffy though, like they look like maybe they would help with any impact if he did fall. And as you can see, none of this stuff really matches here, so he probably, you know, just put all this stuff together or found these pieces to protect him from falling whenever he would fall off of his skateboard. Looks like he does a lot of ollies because he just wiped his whole shoe out. Also, I think that means that his right foot goes first whenever he is skateboarding. Wow, look at this tail. I'm loving these colors. It really looks like, I think it's called a day gecko, the green gecko with the blue. And I'm pretty sure it's the gecko that inspired the gecko from Geico. He has a small roller skate attached to his tail with some purple band. The diameter of the tail is really big on this end and then smaller as it connects to his body. Here's his left knee pad. It is a human skull, it looks like, or a skull mask maybe. And then here is his right knee pad. You could see those lines painted in there very carefully, and they're like razor sharp. That's beautiful. I love the paint application so far. I think it's great. Take a look at his foot and his toenails. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm getting like Incredible Hulk vibes just because of the over stylized, you know, disproportionate everything and how big his legs are, and definitely those pants and the color. So that's really cool. And then take a look at his ponytail. He made a ponytail, and it is black, luscious hair. And then we could take a look at the front of his ball cap right there. It's really nice. It looks like it's like a puffy style ball cap that has, you know, sewn in seams all around it to make it, you know, in that puffy manner. The brim of the hat is a square shape rather than round. And if we look really closely, we can see a seam going across his face that connects his top half of his head to the bottom half of his head. On his tongue, we have 2 houseflies, and we have inside there a cockroach. The inside of his mouth is a red color, exactly the same as this, maybe a little bit darker. On his right hand, he does have a fingerless red glove, and yeah, just that's the sculpt. Like that sculpt, it's not just paint, it's actually sculpted like a glove at the fingers. He's also sporting a nice set of braces on his top teeth, so he really cares about his dental health, which I love, you know? His eyes are rather bloodshot. And if we take a look at that. I'm seeing yellow. He definitely has yellow. There's 3 different tones here. Well, actually, there's 4. We have this blue color at the top, And then we have the lime green, which is his skin, like the base tone. And then we have yellow on, actually like a yellowish green on top. And then we have like straight up yellow inside of the bumps that make up his scales. The paint, like I said, is perfect on this guy. I'm honestly taken aback by the attention to detail here with the sculpt itself, but the paint application is absolutely phenomenal on this dude. Okay, let's take a look at his accessory, my friends. He comes with this motorized skateboard, and we'll start by taking a look at the details here. The engine is painted in a very dark charcoal color. It's almost a cool tone charcoal color. See the manifold at the top with the intake headers here. We see the belts, and we could see that iconic V shape from V8 engines. Could be a V6, which would be my guess because of how shallow the engine actually is. But we don't see any type of transmission coming out of the back or anything like that. It's probably all built in here, and you can see how much technology went into this, which is absolutely awesome. Maybe this is the gas tank here, and then maybe this is some sort of extra boost maybe. So it looks like the headers coming off the engine are essentially just the exhaust, and they did not paint a darker color inside here and did not make it hollow. You could see they're a really nice blue color that doesn't really match anything else. Like it doesn't match the blue that's on his face really. It's like a light sky blue. One of the headers did have a hole in it, so we put this wrap around it. Take a look at these wheels, huge red wheels that have screws in them where the trucks would be connected to them, and they do not spin. They don't move. At least I don't think they move. Yeah, I don't think that they move. But we do see that Mondo logo right there at the bottom, which is on the thing that I thought was a gas tank. This piece right here was very common in the 1980s to have a plastic thing put here. So whenever you hit a curb or you press the tail of the skateboard down, it would scrape the plastic and not the skateboard itself. I don't know if that's what this is or not, but I could totally imagine that, because this looks like it's straight out of the 1980s to me. On top, we have a really nice decal. It's like blue and green fire. We do have that same Jolly Roger that has an eyeball in its left eye, huge crack in the skull, and then one of the crossbones is a skateboard standing up at a 35-degree angle-ish. So the skateboard did in fact take some serious damage. As you see here, there's like an indentation right there. It almost looks like a vein if you look really closely at it. And it goes under this piece right here to the edge of the skateboard. So probably to avoid the skateboard fully cracking in half whenever, he's standing on it, it looks like he had taken a piece of metal, maybe from the back of one of those Radio Shack project boxes, and just put it on there and just screwed it right in. And it looks like it really helped out, because this is very sturdy. I don't see any bending there whatsoever in this. And this is like a hard plastic. I feel like this is just hard plastic. And then we have the engine, which is definitely a soft vinyl. You can see right there I can move the intakes, and then yeah, just this looks badass to me. I love this. I think this is an incredible accessory, and I know that the original came with one of these, so Mondo adding that in is absolutely awesome. Next, let's take a look at the figure's articulation. I believe the articulation of this figure should match that of the original toy from the 1980s. We'll start by moving the head. You can see as we move the head, it actually is inhibited by the huge black ponytail. As we see here, the ponytail is going to hit his shoulder on his right side, and then his shoulder, actually maybe his trap muscle, no, it's hitting his shoulder right there on his left side. Moving down to the shoulders, we can spin them 360. Take a look at that for his left arm. You could get his right arm to spin 360 if you just move the tongue a little bit. Very cool. Moving down to the wrist, he does have 360 spin at the wrist. Nothing at the elbow, no bicep cut or anything like that, no ab crunch. And I don't think, yeah, it doesn't turn at the ab either. But there are cuts here in the pelvis area to move the legs. As we see right here, you can move the legs 360. Very nice. Just move the hands out of the way, and yeah, you could spin them around 360. I am very, very thrilled and very happy to add this into the collection. I think the bright colors adds that massive cartoonish looking hit to this line so far, because the Turtles, they really do look like their toy counterparts, less like a cartoon, whereas Mondo Gecko, as you can see, is very cartoonish looking, though so is the real gecko that this is based off of, like the Day Gecko, I think it's called. it's really bright green and has blue on it. It's just very bright, and just like anything in nature, absolutely beautiful. One piece I forgot to mention, his tail does articulate and you could spin it 360 degrees. So let's see if he could stand on his skateboard. Remember, we're going to put his right foot first because that's the one that takes the hit when you're doing ollies, and look at that. Look at that, my friends. He looks fantastic on his skateboard. I mean, that looks good enough. I think that looks great. You could probably just throw him at your desk if you get upset. But also, what you could probably do is just kind of like stand him at an angle on the skateboard, because the skateboard's rather wide. So you could definitely get him to stand on it very easily. Okay, so for the purpose of comparison, we're going to be opening up a remake of the original toy from Playmates. And the remake is by Playmates, made in 2023. But let's just go ahead and get this out of the package. Okay, got him out. Well, sort of. He's in the bubble. He does have plastic bands. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at that packaging compared to the Mondo version. Yeah, you can absolutely tell that Mondo was, inspired by those original toys in so many ways. The packaging that Mondo has made, it's so killer. I love this artwork so much. But we could see the original packaging. We have yellow that goes to gray, and then purple, and then magenta, brown. The Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo right there is a lot more vibrant in green and in red. That's absolutely beautiful. I love both of these, and I absolutely love the fact that this is a throwback to the original. Okay, my friends, here he is. Again, this is a re-release of the Playmates original toy from either the early 90s or the late 80s. And you could see the amount of detail on this is truly crazy. These action figures had so much beautiful detail. You could definitely look at these and find stuff in them for 10 straight minutes. But I love the skin, like the texture of his skin. He has these spikes on the back of his arm and on the back of his forearm. His fingernails are not painted yellow. He does in fact have a red glove on his right hand. He does have 2 blue elbow pads, as we saw. They were purple on the Mondo version. And then he has those purple Incredible Hulk looking pants. They're kind of padded, almost like hockey pants, that totally makes sense. And then we have the skull right there as his knee pad. And yeah, his right knee pad actually matches that of the Mondo version. But this shoe, his right shoe, is not torn up like the Mondo version. And then his tail has the roller skate on it, as you see right there, but it is not painted. There's no additional colors on there, but take a look at how extreme the scales are on this guy's skin. Definitely has like a ridge of spikes going down the backs of his arms and down the back of his tail. He is wearing braces, and they are painted silver. His eyes are red, and he does have that iconic blue and luscious black hair. The ball cap, like the brim of the ball cap's definitely a lot smaller than it was on the Mondo version. And so is this emblem on his shirt. And as you can see, look really closely, it's definitely a sticker that's placed onto the plastic. The long scales that go on his abdomen here are not blue like on the Mondo version, and we could take a look there. Yeah, so you could totally see a big difference there. You don't see the blue, like I said, on those long scales on the abdomen. The Mondo version has a black rope belt, which I think is a really nice touch. And it's just like a super duper flat finish, and the colors seem like they're really muted on the Mondo version. It just feels like such an incredible product. And you could definitely see the shirt is kind of smaller on the Mondo version, and the sticker, really kind of sticks out on the Playmates action figure as we see there. But I really, really dig the big bumpy scales on the skin of the original Playmates version. That's really cool. The tongue of the Playmates version comes out of the left side of Mondo Gecko's mouth, whereas it comes out of the right side on the Mondo version. Yeah. Here's a difference in the ball caps here. You could definitely see that the ball cap of the Mondo version, the brim is a lot longer. The bill, whatever you want to call it. And the tail is such a huge upgrade on the Mondo version. I love it. I think it's awesome. So let's compare articulation now. So starting with the head, spins 360, not on a ball joint. It's a peg, it looks like. We have a peg at the shoulder, and we have no articulation at the forearm or the hand. So Mondo is a 1-up on that one. And then going down to the pelvis, we do have ball joints inside there. and very large, very noticeable gaps in there, unless you have his legs in a really weird position, right? Again, that happened to my Rat King. You could definitely just see it's just on a peg, like a simple ball joint peg. So Playmates has a one up there, even though there's a large like gap that's very noticeable. They definitely have more articulation than the Mondo version. We have no twist at the waist, and then the tail, I'm pretty sure the tail is also, yeah, it's also on like a ball joint, as you see right there. So that's another plus that Playmates gets as far as articulation go, but the hit on the hands is really big because you can only like really position this guy so much before you just run out of ideas, right? Whereas this one, with the moving hands, you can definitely get a little bit more, you know, enough that's fairly noticeable. But yeah, the shoe. So finally the shoe, as you see right there, his right shoe is not shredded off like it is on the Mondo version, and the skull is shaped a little bit different. The one on the Mondo soft vinyl figure just reminds me for some reason of a skull from like Darksiders, the video game or something. And then colors too. The colors are very drastically different, and honestly I prefer the Mondo version for the colors. Along with pretty much everything. Like, this is a really nice collector piece, I feel like. So the skateboard comparison, there's really none. Like, this Playmates of skateboard is pretty much as long as the Mondo skateboard is wide. You can see the difference in engines right there. I like the Playmates version a lot. I'm not going to knock the Playmates toys ever on this channel because they inspired me so much as a kid, and I absolutely love them. But this Mondo soft vinyl figure and the skateboard and everything is just awesome. I love these ridges along the edge right here. Like, we don't have those on the Mondo version. It's just flat. And then the wheels, you can see there's like, I don't know, like where the trucks connect, like there's no bolt to connect the wheels to the trucks, and it almost looks like there's a rim inside there. So that's pretty cool. And then the engine on the bottom, you can see it's just a little bit different. It seems like Mondo just kind of like upgraded that, you know, as much as possible, even the piece in the front. I feel like if that truly was the idea behind creating these Sofubi versions, Mondo nailed it 1000%. And again, I would never ever knock a Playmates toy just because, you know, I got sentimental value, right? I love Playmates. Like, they're badass. Look at this. They were like pioneers of this stuff. It's so cool. I love the peg system on the skateboard. See, he's on pegs right now. If we take a look closely, there's pegs right there that stick out of the sticker. The sticker, like the decal on the skateboards, it's pretty darn close. But the Mondo version doesn't have a bottom jaw, and you can see the Mondo version has wheels on the skateboard piece of the Jolly Roger bone. The flame on the Playmates version is like an insanely dark purple and olive, very light olive green, whereas the flames on the Mondo version are gray with almost like a desaturated lime green. And the yellows don't really match up either because the Mondo version's a little bit darker, but yeah, this being a sticker, I'm still cool with that on the Playmates toy. Like, this is beautiful. I've opened up a lot of Playmates stuff, especially like the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line that they did right here on the channel. If you'd like to check any of that stuff out, Playmates is awesome. I love the fact that they're at retail and they're like everywhere. Like, everywhere there's toys sold, I feel like, look at that. That looks like he's really like, he has momentum and he's skateboarding. It's so cool. That's kind of hard to achieve with this guy right here because of kind of like the lack of movement in the legs, you know, like he's just kind of like just standing on it. And then you can't turn his waist and you can barely turn his head because of the ponytail hitting his shoulder here. I guess if I warm this up, I could like lift it up and over the shoulder, maybe like this. Definitely don't want to break it. Yeah, look at that. So put his arm up this way. Trying as hard as I can not to get like nasty paint transfer or anything. But yeah, look at that. That's a little bit better. That's kind of cool. So if you, I don't recommend it. Please don't break your Sofubi, but you saw I just kind of like peeled it upwards and turned his head, lifted it over his shoulder, and then brought his arm up. That's pretty cool. Like this looks really cool. I think I'll display him this way actually. And yeah, so as far as the height goes, let's go ahead and measure this guy and see how tall he is. Okay, so standing up tall from the bottom of his feet up to the top of the back of his hat right here, he is exactly 8 inches tall. With his hair, he's, I'd say, a little bit less than 8 3/4 inches tall. And the Playmates version, this little guy right here, is exactly 4 1/4 inches tall. The Mondo skateboard stands on the back at about 7 1/2 inches tall, whereas the Playmates version stands, I'd say, at 3 3/4 inches. So there's definitely a very huge difference in size. And that totally makes sense because one is stylized one way, one is stylized the other way, and the style is like the proportions and the way it's painted, the colors, everything. But to me, the proportions make a huge difference in these two as far as the way they look. But when you are looking at them, you can tell they are the same character, for sure. And I love that. The artistic interpretations, everything about it's just wonderful. So this has been the Toy Box Nostalgia unboxing and review and super duper close look at the absolute brand new 2024 Mondo Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle soft vinyl version of Mondo Gecko. I would love to hear your favorite story of Mondo Gecko as a kid. If you had that action figure, please drop a comment below. And thank you so much for sticking to the end, my friends, and joining me for this video tonight. I had an absolute blast, and I think that this Sofubi figure is flawless in my opinion. I think he looks fantastic next to the 3 turtles that I have open so far, and I can't wait to get them all out of the packaging and experience the joy of all of them being together with you here on the channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all of my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It truly helps out the channel. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week, my friends. And remember, collect and shoot.